We are recording. This is my way of
Great.
reminding myself when I look at the recording. We are recording, and we are starting now. Um, and do you want to give a little intro? I'm sitting. My little intro, pre-intro, is I'm sitting on a yoga mat because I figured that's probably best, right?
hmm Yeah, that's good. And you certainly don't need one, but that I personally think that would be nice if you have like a soft surface. If you have vacuumed your rug and you are not,
Yeah, sure.
um, and dog hair, yoga mats, something like that. We will be on hands and knees for a short time. But we will be. So if there's like if you're on a harder surface and you want to roll up, a towel or a t-shirt or something or a pillow that you could protect your knees with, that would be fine. I will suggest being on no, sorry, be on our back for also a short time. So yeah, yoga mat would probably be preferable, but it is not, necessary.
Now, if in present or in the future, and listening to this recording back, if somebody like couldn't do hands and knees,
Mhm.
or any alternative way that they could be guided through doing this as well?
Yes, most of the entire workshop is not on hands. Hands and knees. Let's see. There are certainly ways to do these exercises from standing. I don't know. I could mention that um during the recording, but I will say if I do forget, I
Mhm.
will say now that when we do hands and knees, we're going to be borrowing from yoga, doing cat cow and bird dog. And so that can also be done. That contraction um of the abdominals can be done standing, and that you can still bring that into your hips and into your shoulders. The same when we go in cow and we're arching. That can be done from a standing position or even a sitting position. You just want to make sure you're isolating your torso. And then bird dog also can be done from standing, less so probably from sitting, but from standing. Um, the extension can definitely be done from that position as well.
Cool.
hmm
Well, I'm going to take this cue. I'm going to jump into the audience, and if you need me, I can jump back up. Otherwise, it's all up to you.
Okay, great.
Cool. How do I get out of here? Move to audience.
Okay, great. All right, everyone. So, I'll just start by saying that today we're going to do a movement workshop. The way I've structured this is that the objectives are spinal health, release of tension, and the engagement of muscles. So, all of the exercises that we're going to be doing today will relate to that in some capacity. I want you to personalize this for yourself as much as possible. I'm guiding you, obviously, and leading you through it, and I've picked these exercises related to the theme, but I want you to make sure that you're making modifications as needed, doing whatever is beneficial to you and your body. That's what we want. And I'll just make another note and say I to remember to cue you to begin trying the movements as I'm explaining them, but please feel free as soon as I start explaining something to start trying it out and seeing what it feels like on your body if I don't cue you. But so we're gonna begin with one of my favorite ways to begin, which is with a little bit of a sort of guided meditation, adaptation of Alexander technique. So let's begin by finding a comfortable position. I prefer to do exercises like this, just laying down on my back on the floor. But whatever feels best for you, as long as you're not fighting against gravity. Try not to use any muscle engagement to keep you in the position that you're in. Just relax. So I'll give you a second to kind of find that. Okay. Now that we've arrived here, allow anything other than the feeling of the surface beneath you to slip away. Allow your thoughts to drift. Clear your mind of anything other than the floor, your breath, and your heartbeat. Don't get frustrated if thoughts about anything else begin to slip in. It's hard to let go of stressors and concerns and the to-do lists, but you are capable of it. Acknowledge any other thoughts that come sneaking in and then send them away. And regardless of any negative connotation this might have, right now, your focus should only be on yourself. Let's tap into your breath. We're going to borrow a breathing technique from yoga called Ujjayi Breathing. With this technique, your breath moves from your belly to your ribs to your chest and your throat, with both your inhales and your exhales being done through the nose. It's sometimes called ocean breath because, as you'll hear, the rushing sound of your exhale combined with the buildup of your inhale mimics the sound of crashing waves. So let's try that a few times, mouth closed, moving from belly to ribs to chest and throat, in and out. Ready? Again, in and out. One more time, in and out. Good. Now we're going to use our breath as a tool. On your inhale, try to identify any points of tension in your body. Then on your exhale, send that breath to the area and dispel the tension. And if you can't seem to identify any areas of tension, I'd like you to use the release to sink deeper into the floor. On your own time, give that a try. In and out, mouth closed through the nose. Okay. If you found the Ujjayi breathing relaxing and beneficial, I'd like you to continue with that method. But if for some reason it didn't feel well or it was distracting to you, feel free to exhale through your mouth as we continue. What I'd like you to do now is send your attention to your belly, the source of that Ujjayi breath that we just practiced. And deep in your belly, I want you to begin to build some heat. Using your breath to send energy, begin to increase the heat. In and out, centralizing your energy and concentration to that one area. And as that heat continues to build, you notice a spark. You have the power to turn that spark to a flame. So do it now. Feel the flames igniting. Feel them growing and flickering. Continue to breathe. Continue to give it oxygen. Then, once it's roaring, allow it to settle in your belly. Allow it to light up your core. Feel it glowing. See it in your mind's eye. Once you've gotten control of it, we're going to send it out to the rest of your body. At your own pace, allow the flames to spread up your torso and into your chest. It shouldn't be uncomfortably hot, just warming you from the inside. Feel it move through your back and your shoulders, melting or contracting, whatever you feel you need most right now. Direct your fire down into your arms, all the way down through your fingertips. Feel it creeping up your neck and your throat, even into your face and your head. Allow Allowing the fire to continue to burn in your upper body, send your focus towards your lower body. Feel the fire creeping down through your low back, your hips, upper leg, lower leg, ankles, feet, all the way down to your toes. Scan your entire body. Feel how the heat you generated is changing the way your body feels and the way your mind feels. Feel how your fire has unlocked your muscles, made them susceptible and suggestible to engagement. Sit in that warmth for as long as you need. When you're ready, I'd like you to imagine you're laying on a beach. Feel yourself in the warm sand. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, matching the warmth of the fire you've nurtured inside your body. You're laying at the shoreline, with your toes only a short distance from the water as it ebbs and flows. But as you lay there, very slowly and gently, the tide begins to come in. Feel the water tickle your toes as it matches the rhythm of your breath. In and out, in and out. Each time the water rolls in, it comes slightly higher, pulling your body inside and out. First your toes, then your feet, then your ankles, climbing higher to your knees, then your thighs, up over your hips and your belly, up your torso to your chest and back. Finally, it makes its way up to your shoulders. And then you're floating. The water has cooled your skin, and slowly it starts to cool the fire inside of you too. Feel the weightlessness of the water around you. Feel it create pathways inside of you. As the blood that runs through your veins, feel the water weave its way around, connecting every part of you. Feel that your body is one unit, and feel that when one part is affected, the others can be as well. Feel that a single twitch of a finger can reverberate throughout the entire body. Stay floating as long as you need. But when you're ready, notice that the water has begun to drain from underneath you. It's just a trickle, and you have the agency to control how quickly you return to the earth. Whatever speed you choose, when you're done, allow the water to place you gently down on the floor once more. Feel it underneath you, supporting you. The floor has got you. When you're ready, bring some movement back into the distal ends of your body, your toes, your fingertips. And when you're satisfied that you've reintroduced your body to movement, open your eyes. You can remain laying down if that's the position that you already chose, but if it's not, please join me laying on your back. And then while we make that adjustment, I'll just ask if everyone's okay and ready and willing to move forward. Okay. On to our next exercise. We're going to give some TLC to our spines. Okay, so laying on our backs, let's bring our knees up with our feet planted on the floor about hip width apart, arms at our sides. Now what we're going to do is roll through the spine starting at its base at our tailbone, rolling up toward the neck and back down. Our feet will be planted the entire time with our weight pressing into our heels. Squeezing your stomach muscles. I'd like you to roll your hips up almost as if you were trying to point your tailbone at the ceiling. And then continue peeling your spine off of the floor until you've reached the base of your neck or as close as you're comfortable going to the base of your neck. If you practice yoga, this position might look similar to you. It's called bridge. And then let's slowly roll down, repainting our spine on the floor. Roll down from your cervical spine, down the thoracic, that's by your shoulders, further down to your low back, and then the tailbone will come down and relax. Let's repeat that 4 times, always engaging your abs as the first movement, and then peeling the tailbone off of the floor. Let's go up for 4 counts and down for 4. 4 times. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down. 2, 3, 4. Up. 2, 3, 4. Down. 2, 3, 4. Up. 2, 3, 4. Down. 2, 3, 4. Last time. Up. 2, 3, 4. And down. 2, 3, 4. Good. Let's stay in this position. We're going to give some attention to our lower backs, our lumbar spine. With our feet still planted on the floor, upper body staying in this position, all we're going to do is drop our knees toward the right, bring them back center, and drop them to the left. So what that looks like, when you're going towards the right, you'll move the outside of your right leg toward the floor, right knee is pointing towards the right wall. The left just follows the right leg. The inside of your left leg moves towards the right leg, your left knee pointing towards the right wall. When you're moving back center, just roll back onto the soles of your feet to plant them, and then we reverse to the left. Flexibility does not matter here as long as you're attempting the rotation. How close you're getting to the floor does not matter. Okay, so let's give it a go. I'll give you 4 counts to drop your knees, 4 counts to come back to center. Repeat on the other side. We'll do this one 4 times as well. 1 time is right and left. I'll guide you through it. Here we go. 6, 7, 8. We go down right. 2, 3, 4. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the left. 2, 3, 4. Coming up. 2, 3, 4. To the right. 2, 3, 4. Coming up. 2, 3, 4. To the left. 2, 3, 4. Coming up. 2, 3, 4. To the right. 2, 3, 4. Coming up. 2, 3, 4. To the left. 2, 3, 4. Coming up. 2, 3, Last time. Here we go to the right. 2, 3, 4. Coming up. 2, 3, 4. To the left. 2, 3, 4. Coming up. 2, 3, 4. Great. Okay. One last exercise in this position. Let's bring our knees into our chest. Give yourself a nice squeeze, give a nice big hug, and then release yourself slightly. Keep your hands on your knees, place your hands on your knees. We're going to make 4 circles clockwise, guiding our knees with our hands. So here we go. Clockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then let's stay in that position. Take a few moments. Let's just rock side to side. So your low back should be pressing into the floor. This should feel like a nice massage. Just back and forth to the right and left. Nice and slow, nice and gentle. Take your time. And when you've had the chance to do the exercise a few times, find stillness and release your legs onto the floor. Okay, I'd like to take a second to check in. We're going to be moving to hands and knees after this, but I'll take a pause here to see how we're doing, if anyone needs anything. Good? Okay, let's move on. Okay, so join me in all fours. If you need a pillow, rolled up shirt, yoga mat, something to cushion your knees, you can feel free to grab that. These exercises can also be done standing or from a sitting position if hands and knees is not feasible for you. These next few exercises are borrowed from yoga, so they might sound a little bit familiar. The first one we're going to do is cat-cow. So on hands and knees, we want hands under shoulders, palms are on the floor. Knees on the floor, underneath your hips. To be a cat, we're going to squeeze our abs so hard that we arch our back like a cat, arching all the way up into our shoulders and down into our hips, chin tucking into the chest. And then to be a cow, we're going to reverse it. We're going to drop our stomach towards the floor. We're going to lift our chest toward the ceiling, tilt your chin up slightly, and tailbone points to the wall behind you. Try not to crunch up into your lower back here. You really want to try to send that tailbone straight back. You don't want to collapse in that low back. If you're doing this from a standing or sitting position, you can engage your abdominals. As well in that position, you can still tuck the chin to the chest for cat, pull all the way down into your low abs to engage your hips, and then you can arch your back also again, tilt the chin up. You can probably get closer to the ceiling if you're doing this from a sitting or a standing position with your chin, and you can release like that. Whatever way you're trying today, let's do about 4 of these cat-cows together. Let's give a nice big exhale on the cat and a nice inhale on the cow. Here we go. And exhale. Cow. Cat. Cow. Cat. Cow. And cat. Really pull it in. Cow. Really get that collarbone open and release. Good. We're going to move into an exercise called bird dog, also borrowed from yoga. This exercise is also done on hands and knees, but the extension of the legs and the arms can also be done from a standing position. We will begin by extending our right arm directly out in front of us and our left leg directly out behind us. So if you're on hands and knees, palms on the floor, still under shoulders, knees on the floor, still underneath hips. Engage your abdominal muscles to provide some stability and balance. And then after a breath, we'll return to this starting position and repeat on the other side with the left arm and the right leg. So we're counterbalancing. It's going to be the opposite arm with the opposite leg. Like I said, modifications as always are welcome here. Um, if you would like to be on hands and knees but don't feel stable, you can keep both palms grounded and only lift the leg, or you can keep both knees under the hips and only extend the arm. Like I said, this also can be done from standing. We can just have the extension over the head with the arm and the extension of the leg slightly behind us. That would also be the same counterbalance, right arm, left leg, and vice versa. Feel free to experiment with what you're comfortable with or what you feel you're capable of today. You can try changing different levels as we go on. Okay, now, whatever form you're working on today, let's begin. Squeeze your abs, lift that right arm out to shoulder height, left leg to hip height, and release to hands and knees. Other side. Lift up and hold, and release to the other side. We're going to take that a few more times. Remember to use your breath. Here we go. And right arm. Drop it down. Left arm. Down. Right arm. Down. Left arm. Down. Right arm. Down. Left arm. Down. Good. Take this moment, just do another quick check-in before we get up onto our feet. If everyone's good, then let's make our way up onto our feet. Once your feet are planted, take a nice slow roll up. Head should be the last thing to come up. Always protect your spine. Okay. So similar to what we just did, and basically the same movement as when we painted our spine on the floor, we're going to do some roll-ups. This is one of my favorite ways to warm up my spine and really my full body. I start a lot of my warm-ups this way. So we're just going to stand up straight on our feet. Feet are about hips distance apart on the floor. Like I said, this is going to be almost identical to painting your spine on the floor, except we're going to change the order of initiation. We're going to work from top down, then bottom up. We will start always, 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 always with engaged abdominals. This is the way that you protect your spine from injury. We're going to roll down from the top of your head. Think about painting a half circle with the top of your head going forward. So up at the ceiling, paint that half circle going down. Follow with the neck, the shoulders, the ribs, the low back, all the way down to the tailbone. And now we're folded forward. If your hands are on the floor, that's great. If they're not, that's also great. Wherever your body has decided to be in space today, honor that. And then I'd like everyone to bend into their knees. Start to roll up, initiating from the tailbone, going up the low back, the ribs, the shoulders, and then as you get to the neck, make sure that chin stays tucked. Your head, your face is the absolute last thing to come up. Okay. I like to add that bend in at the bottom to make it a full body movement. And it also helps to meld the roll down and the roll up into one fluid motion, which is what we're going to try to do. Let's take this nice and slow at first, really ease into things. Let's start with 4 rolls. We'll do 8 counts going down, 8 counts coming up. And after that, because it's so good, we will do 4 more, 4 counts down and 4 counts up. But we won't go any faster than that today, okay? So 4 rolls at 8 counts, 4 rolls at 4 counts. Ready? Top down. Here we go. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Coming up goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now 2 go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Coming up go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Coming up goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Coming up goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now 4 counts. Ready? Here we go. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming up. 2, 3, 4. Again goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming up. 2, 3, 4. Again goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming up goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming up goes 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now that we moved on up to standing, we're going to work into some exercises for balance and stability. First off, we're going to do some pliés. Plie is a movement from ballet. The word itself means to bend. The movement is, as the word describes, it's a bending at the knee. In ballet, pliés are done with a turned out foot and leg, but today we're going to do a plie more commonly seen in modern dance, so a plie in parallel. This is also pretty self-explanatory. Rather than turning out, your feet will be underneath your hips in a parallel position so that the inside borders of your feet face each other and your toes point forward. You should feel your whole foot on the floor. And then what I would like you to do is hover your weight forward slightly so that it rests in the balls of your feet. It'll almost feel like you're leaning on an angle, but your whole foot should still have contact with the floor. Okay. So once we have our weight properly centered, right over the ball of that foot, I'd like you to engage your abs. Give me a small bend at the knees. Feel your hamstrings, the back of your legs engage, and kind of wrap towards the front of your thighs. Keep your chest up, facing forward. Shoulders drop down into your back. Chin slightly raised, eyes forward. Most importantly, make sure your knees are going out over your toes in that bend. And once you've felt that position for a moment, straighten your legs, come to standing. Let's get 8 repetitions of that. Let's use your exhale as you bend and inhale as you release. So just 8 small bends. Ready? Here we go. Plie. Coming up. And 2. Coming up. 3. Coming up. 4. Coming up. 5. Coming up. 6. Coming up. 7. Coming up. Last one. Coming up. Great job. Okay. Move on to some balance work here. We're going to get up on our elevate. If you've done one of these with me before, a term that might sound more familiar is releve. These are almost the same movement. The difference lies in the initiation. A releve requires a demi-plie or a small bend before rising up onto the balls of the feet. But we'll do eleves today, which is rising up from a flat foot. So the actual movement is done itself by rolling up onto the ball of the foot. So from flat, you roll, your weight is in the ball of the foot, you roll up onto it, and you lift the heels. Start in the same position as the plie we just did. Weight over the balls of the feet in parallel, feet about hip distance apart, and then simply lift your heels off the ground. The height of your heels doesn't matter as much as that you feel the engagement in your calves, the lower half of your leg, and you'll feel it above your knees and your quads. So if you haven't already tried, roll on up, try to hold it for a moment. Squeeze your abs to give you a good grip on the balance. And come on down. Okay, good. Let's do 4 elevates. And after the 4th, we will hold our balance for a moment. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it up. Come on down. Good. Let's do that 2 more times. We go up 1, up 2, up 3, up 4, and hold. Good. Come on down, and let's go again. Up 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it up. Okay, good. Come on down. Shake it out. All right. Let us move on to balancing on a single leg. So once again, first thing we do, recruit those ab muscles. We're going to work on a flat foot for these balance exercises in favor of having a bit more stability, and to get to have a little more fun with our working leg, or rather the opposite of the leg that's supporting us. So there's the supporting leg, your standing leg, and then the working leg, the one that's, for our purposes, in the air. So once again, let's start in that plie position, feet under hips, weight in the balls of the feet. Pick a leg to be your supporting leg and lift the other one up just a bit. You will have the chance to switch sides, so whichever you're more comfortable with first. You can have the working leg either connected or disconnected to the supporting leg, but really what I want you to focus on is try to stack your spine so that you aren't leaning in one direction or another to compensate for your balance. Rather, instead of leaning or flailing your limbs to try to get balance, I want you to try to exhale, engage your abs, and visualize yourself standing strong and tall on your supporting leg. Falling is fine and it's welcome. Just come back to a balance once you fall. And then also give that balance a try on the opposite leg during this time. Feel free to shift back and forth, which leg you're working on. One leg you'll notice is probably a little bit sturdier or stronger. That kind of usually just comes from the habit of having, a dominant side, but that's fine. We work on both equally. Keep trying your balances out, and then while you are, I'd like for you to think of yourself as a tree. See if this changes anything. Send your roots down into the ground through your supporting leg. Send your leaves and your branches up into the sky. Try to reach the sun. And then think of your body as a sturdy trunk in between. Now go up into your balance with that imagery. See if that changes anything. Okay, shake it out. Now that you've had time to kind of see what that feels like and kind of get up onto your leg, as we say, we're going to jump into some static poses. Let's begin by returning to that plie. Once again, pick a leg to be your supporting leg and one to be your working leg. You will get both sides, but pick one to start. And from that starting position, I would like you to take the knee of your working leg and bring it towards your chest. You can grab it and hold on to it, or you can leave it at your hands at your sides, whatever you're more comfortable with. And make sure you're trying it on both sides. Remember to engage your abs. Send energy straight down and straight up if you feel yourself falling off of your center. Just a simple balance. Great, and when you're ready, we're going to try a little bit of a different hold. We're going to get double duty on this one. We're going to get it, we're going to do a quad stretch, so we're balancing and we're stretching. What we're going to do from that starting position, that plie position, bend one leg at the knee, point the heel of your foot towards your bum so your leg is behind you, and then try to grab your foot or your ankle, whatever you can reach. And you're going to feel a nice stretch in the front of that leg. Try not to let your hips sink backward, but rather bring them forward and engage your abs so that you could draw a straight line down through your head, neck, shoulders, hip, and knee. And when you're ready, you can try it on the other leg. Get that nice stretch on the other leg as well. Remember to continue to use your breath. And just for fun, let's try moving back and forth between these two exercises. So either starting with your quad stretch with your leg behind you, or knee to the chest in front of you. Try to stay up on your supporting leg, and then try carrying your working leg either from in front of you to behind, or from behind in front. And enjoy the stretching that's coming along with that. Really squeeze those abs, really send that energy down into the floor. Moving from up in front of your chest, swiping down and coming back behind you. Try to stay up on that leg. Or, of course, if you're going the other way, starting behind you, having a good grip on that foot or that ankle, and letting it go, trying to carry that leg through all the way up toward the chest. Okay, let's build on that a little bit. The next exercise we're going to do is called a retiré. You may have heard this called a passe. There really isn't a difference between the two. A passe, the word passe means past, and it suggests movement through a position, where retiré is specifically a static position. In my experience, the two are used interchangeably very often, except for when movement is actually required, like in a piqué turn. So since we'll be static, I'll call it a retiré, but it is the same as a passe to look at. We will start in parallel as we've been working and then move on from that plie position. Okay, pick your working leg. Heel it up from the floor, point it, bend your knee. Place the foot of the working leg against the inside of the knee of the supporting leg. So you kind of look like a flamingo. Something I'd like you to pay attention to, try not to let the hip of the working leg creep up too much. So the leg that's bent, you want to try not to let that hip hitch on up. Think of your hip bones as headlights. You want to keep them as stable and level as possible. Make sure you also give that a try on the other side. And while you're doing that, really think about that proper posture, stacking that spine, rooting down into the ground. And if you'd like to try to go up on the ball of your foot on your standing leg on your elevate, that would also be welcome if you'd like to try it. And then let's add a little bit of a twist on this. So come back to our starting position, shake it out. This time when you lift your working leg, we're still going to connect to the standing leg, but only with your toes, and the knee of the working leg will go out to the side. So this is a turned out retiré or passe. You still want to try to keep those hips level. You still want to engage the abs. Make sure you're trying it on both sides. And if one of these doesn't quite feel right, just work on the one that you would like to work on. And while you're working, keep going while I'm talking, but while you're working, if you're so inclined, if you practice yoga or if you'd like to try it, I would like you to try applying these things that we've been discussing and practicing to your tree pose. So if you would like to try tree pose and don't know what it is, It's almost like a combination of the two retires we just practiced, the turned out one and the parallel. So the working leg's knee is turned out. The sole of the working foot is entirely making contact with the supporting leg. Your individual strength and flexibility determines what part of the leg the working foot makes contact with. So with a passe or a retire, it's at the knee. But when you're in tree pose, you don't want to put pressure on your joints. So maybe it's above the ankle or somewhere on your thigh, but you do not want to press your working foot into a joint. That will cause injury, because you will push the working foot and supporting leg against each other. So whichever position you're working on, also feel free to incorporate your hands and arms. Maybe they're in prayer position with your palms together in front of your chest, or maybe they're out to the sides or above your head. But this time is just practice for you to modify as you feel you need here and now. So take another few seconds and work on one of those exercises, passe or retire, parallel, turned out, maybe your tree pose, or maybe you want to go back to something we did earlier. All right, let's come on down from whatever position you're in. Shake it all out. One last exercise before we do a short check-in. So come to our starting position, that plie position. Pick a leg to be your working leg. Bring the knee up, pointing it towards the ceiling. Try not to grab your leg with your hands. Try to just hold it up. Your foot should be in the air in front of you, not connected to your supporting leg. And what I would like you to do is float your arms out to the side. Take a moment to get used to how that shifts your balance a little bit. And then carefully try wrapping your arms toward the hip of the working leg. So the leg that's up in the air, try to wrap your arms toward that hip. Then unwrap and face forward. We're going to give that a try again. And this time, when you wrap towards your working leg, bring the knee of the leg that's in the air toward the opposite hip. So arms go toward the hip that's up, knee goes away from it. Think about wringing out a wet towel. That's kind of what you want to think about, that twist. And relax. Shake it out, give it a try on the other side. Bring the knee up, arms out, give yourself a second to get that balance. And let's wrap those arms. And come back forward, and then we'll wrap again and move the knee to the opposite hip. Wring out that towel. Good. And relax. So, we're creating a spiral here. Essentially, you're wrapping your body around a center point, which here is the spine. We're going to give it a try again. See if you can really incorporate what we've been speaking about with balance and stability, sending down into the floor, engaging the abs, sending up into the air. And then give it a try and just see, maybe experiment. How far can you go before you fall off your balance? And then if you do fall off, try again and see what you can do to maintain that balance for even a fraction of a second longer. Maybe you need to squeeze your abs a little bit tighter. Maybe you really just need to root down. Maybe you need to exhale. Make sure to get your whole body involved, include your neck, your head, and your shoulders. Really wring out that towel. Let that spiral move through your entire body. Take your time. Make sure you get to try it on both sides. Notice that each side might feel a little bit different. Notice how as you make adjustments, you maintain your balance for a longer time. Remember to engage the abs, send energy directly up, directly down. You can even straighten your working leg if you'd like to try that. So we had it bent at the knee, but we can even straighten it. That adds a different challenge altogether. Extend your arms. That's another challenge. This is entirely your personal practice. So make any choice that is a challenge to you, that is a benefit to you. Okay, great work, everyone. Let's come to stillness. Really, really incredible work so far, everyone. I just want to take a moment to do a more substantial check-in before our last exercise. Of course, if you'd like to share something verbally, that's fine, but I really would like for everyone to check in with themselves. Think about the difference in how your body feels from the beginning of our time to now. Make sure you're having some water if you haven't been throughout. Take a couple minutes, regroup. We're going to do one last exercise together, and then we're going to talk for a little bit. I'm going to lead you through a few deep centering breaths right now, but feel free to do whatever it is you need at this time. You don't have to join if you don't want to. Okay, so some nice deep breaths. Here we go. In, release. In, release. In, release. One more. In, release. Make sure you're really breathing audibly, especially when we're just on audio. It really changes the reaction of your body. It changes this how centered your body becomes. Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody back. If you still need a couple, moments to yourself, that's fine. I'm just going to start explaining. For this final exercise, we're going to revisit those spirals that we just introduced. What I would like you to think about is a light pole or a light post. I want you to think about how you can create spirals by twisting around a light post. And then I want you to think about how you can build movement using the light post and the spirals that you're making around it. So, the actual exercise here, what I'm actually asking you to do, is to build or find or create 8 separate movements. I'd like you to have these movements based in spirals, using or creating spirals, connecting your spiraling movements. And I'd like you to achieve this by working as if you're spiraling around the post, or maybe you are the light post. Take a few minutes, think about what sort of movement you'd like to build. Think about how you can be inspired by spirals, by the shape or by the motion, by the idea of wrapping and twisting and releasing. There are no wrong choices. The best part of this being only audio and no video is that your choices are absolutely your own. And if you'd like to do something entirely different than spirals, that's absolutely fine too. That's a great choice. Maybe you're reacting to spirals, you're doing the opposite of spirals. That's a choice too. Think about repetition, tempo, levels, direction. All these different factors can help you build choreography. Think about 8 movements. You can also use transitions as a movement. Rather, you can count a transition as a movement to get to your 8. when I think about a light post, I think about like a dark street with just a single light, and it's very old-timey light post. That's the image that comes to mind. So maybe the imagery that comes to mind when I say light post can also help to inform your choreographic choices here. I think the imagery of wringing out a wet towel is very, very strong for me. And so I think about how I can layer that imagery on the imagery of that solitary light post at night on a street by itself. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is count a very, very slow 8 count. So you can practice your 8 movements on each count. I'll do that twice. And then after that, I'll give a slightly faster 8 count so that you don't feel like you're moving in slow motion. And if you're still building, that's perfectly fine as well. Okay, ready? Here we go. 2 slow 8s. 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. I'm going to up the tempo slightly just so you can give it a try, kind of stacking it all together. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So I'm going to give you an opportunity now to either continue the movement that you already have, either rehearsing it or continuing to create it. You can do that, or you can build on what you already have. If you've got your 8 movements set and you're good on them and you want to add more, go ahead and do that. Or you can take your 8 counts and manipulate it while you decide like which you're going to do. I'll mention a few ways that you can manipulate or sort of change up your choreography. You can change the order of the movement. You can change the tempo of one, some, or all of the movement. For example, if you've been doing, well, we've been doing 1 movement per count. So maybe you take 2 counts to do the first movement, 1 to do the next, 3 to do the next, and so on. You can repeat all or part of the choreography. You can change what level or direction you're performing it. You can reverse the choreography by doing it on the opposite side of the body. So if you did everything with your right limbs, maybe try it with your left. Or you can retrograde it by doing it as if your body is on rewind. That's a tricky one, but it's very fun. There's sort of endless opportunities here. So whatever you'd like to try today, I think we should give it a go. And I'm just going to keep counting 8s. Eventually, I'll ask you to find an ending. I'd like to challenge you to continue moving the entire time that I'm counting, even if you just repeat a few of the same movements over and over, or maybe even do an exercise that we did earlier. Mostly, I want you to think about the spirals and how you can create spirals in your body and sort of translate that through your movement, if that was your choice choreographically. All right, everyone, here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, everyone, let's find an ending. You've done it. We've completed this movement workshop together. The last thing I'll ask you to do is find yourself in that starting position again. Center yourself. Feel the floor beneath your feet. Together, audibly, let's take a deep breath in and out. Release. Again, in and out. One last time, in and let it all go. In and release. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
You are very, very welcome.